Hey everybody, we should be live now. As always, please let me know that you can hear us, that you can see us, that it's all good. Welcome to this week's Boss Up and List live show. This is to go along with the Boss Up and List virtual listing party that we have every Wednesday all day in Boss, the Facebook group that I run with Teresa Cox. And so if you haven't done this with us before, please come join the group. The link is down below. We would love to have more of you participate. And then we always like to take a break in the middle of the day with the Boss Up and List live show to hopefully give you a chance to breathe a little bit and to have some fun and interact with each other in the live chat. And also hopefully learn some stuff, try to have some special guests. And so this week, you might remember her from our first big Boss Up and List extravaganza when we did the 3-day event. This is Kristine Buonanno. Would you like to say hello?
Hi, everyone.
Hey, and would you introduce us really quick to your plus one you have?
My plus one is Kristines Sale. She's from New York up here, and she was one of the virtual listers that I spoke about that has no prior eBay experience, and now she is like eBay loving it.
Listing all morning long.
Yay, that's awesome. Now, you guys, it might seem kind of like out of your reach, this idea of being able to hire people to help you out. Kristine actually has 3 people that she works with, so there's a 4-person team altogether that she has, including herself. So that might seem crazy to you, but you got to remember, if you watched the show she was on before, back for eBay Open this last year, which was what, maybe like 8 months ago. She actually had 400 listings up at that time. She was doing it on her own. And now here she is. She's got, how many did you say you have, Kristine?
We're just about ready to approach 1,900.
That is crazy. So you got like almost 2,000 listings. You've got 3 people that are working for you. And because you have so many people working for you, you had to figure out some sort of listing system to kind of streamline everything and make sure you're doing it the most efficient way possible. And so later in the show, you're going to run us through all of those details. Hey, it looks like we already have 15 people with us here today. So I see Teresa and Lorna are hanging out in the chat. Savannah, Debbie, Karen, Dave. Hey, everybody.
Hi, Dave.
I think this is the first time I've seen Dave in the chat, so good to see you here.
I told him that I was going to be on.
Oh, there you go. So I've been able to like draw in some more people by having you on, Kristine. That's awesome. And actually, you were outsourcing this morning, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You're like getting things done. So let's see. Oh, I wanted to tell you guys, can you see this? Check it out. Check it out. I got a Boss Up shirt.
I love it.
This is actually my first shirt, my first like exploration into merch by Amazon. So this is my first design. If you know anything about streetwear, like the Supreme brand, go look up on eBay. Look up Supreme t-shirt, sold, sort highest to lowest. You will see their shirts that look very similar to this, but they say Supreme. It's like the most ridiculously simple design, and they're selling those things for like $500 to $800. It's nuts. It's all about brand recognition, and that is like one of the most hyped streetwear brands. So I thought it would be entertaining to have like my little Boss Up shirt that looks like that. I actually have a black one as well.
Oh, I love
There's
it.
a few different colors. But I love it. Got my Boss Up shirt.
The Supreme backpack was going for $600 for a regular backpack that looks like a Jam Sport backpack.
Oh yeah, it's just nuts. They just came out recently with they're doing like a collab. Yeah, they're doing a collab right now, I think, with North Face, and so, which is another big brand's been around for a while. It's big in the 90s and it's big now, and so they have like all these jackets that look like, it almost looks like tinfoil. It's like this silver metallic, and then they have a gold one too, and those are going for like $1,000. So they're like North Face jackets, but then they have like the Supreme logo underneath, like $1,000 for a jacket. It's just crazy. Anyway, thanks for coming, guys. Now, Kristine, what stuff do you sell? Like, what's kind of like, do you have like any set? Is it all clothing, or what exactly do you focus on?
Originally, I started in men's clothing. And then when I tried to expand, and then when I did that fundraiser, it kind of brought me into a bunch of categories. I expanded more into women's. I do like collectibles. I do have a ton of stuff that needs to get listed in that category. But I'm also trying to master shoes. So you'll see a lot of my listings have shoes now. So
And they sell very well.
They do, absolutely. And so do you know what your average sale price is right now, or like what you're trying to get to?
Well, I'm still teetering in that 40, 35 to 55 range. The coats is what really helps, catapult me with the higher average sale price.
Oh yeah, jackets are like my favorite thing to source, and my favorite thing to list and sell.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're up in that higher category, I mean, that makes it harder to source, especially now that you've got 3 people that are working for you. You really have to be able to source a lot more. So are you finding it hard to continue to bring in like enough stuff to keep everybody busy?
Well, I do still have a lot of inventory here from that fundraiser, and we have another one getting ready to get geared up. So right now we were just training. We have a new employee that started this week. So we're trying to get her ramped up and get familiar with InkFrog and the listing. And what we have is our little, outline. We did a book so that they could follow along and have questions and answers. And
now I'm outsourcing. I didn't go this morning, but normally I was working another job, just coming here a few days a week or taking some things home, and it just wasn't working. So I'm just here full time now, and it's working good. But I am out now sourcing, so getting double. And I think like I have a trendy eye, because I have a brother who's very trendy. So I kind of like I'll text him when I see something, and he'll give me his opinion on it. So I think that it's been going pretty well lately, right?
He's proficient in streetwear, and so is Chris. Where I was more proficient in high-end labels. Like I just have an eye for high-end labels.
Very cool. Yeah, I think a lot of this job, there's the instinct part of it, because like I didn't know anything coming in at all about any brands, and I do all men's clothing, and so it took some time for me to learn it. But there is a certain instinct that some people just have naturally, and then you add to it the knowledge, and you can continue to build on that. Karen Turner says that she's listening while she's driving. Karen, please do not watch us. You can listen, but no watching because you're driving. Lynn's here. Big Drift Thrift, good to see you. Alice, hey. So, okay, so let's go ahead. You were outsourcing this morning. You've been doing some sourcing. You got tons of stuff. So you're actually going to show us to kind of give people an idea of the kind of stuff that you source and what you sell. You're going to show us kind of like a little mini haul here and show some things that you found.
Yep. Okay, one of my favorite things that I sent you some pictures of was we were outsourcing, and I found this vintage Tommy Hilfiger. It's a pretty nice wool blend, stripes. Had the little logo. Can you see it?
Yep, you know how I feel about my Tommy Hilfiger.
Then you turn it around and look at this beauty.
Very nice.
You see that? So that was nice.
Can you show everybody the actual tag on the inside of the collar? There you go, guys.
And then one of my other favorites for this week was, you know how we feel about Coogee in the reselling world, right? Look
Very nice.
A Coogee puffer vest. Very nice. That
and
cool?
So what do you think that'll sell for?
I put it up extremely high because I plan on running the sale. So I like listing it high because I think it grabs the attention when people sort high to low. Sometimes when you price too low, you get lost amongst all the other listings, where if you price high and they search it, at least you're seen, because they're like, are you crazy or this or that? If they like it, they could watch it, and then you run some sales on it and do promoted listings. So that's kind of the logic that I've been using a little bit right now.
Yeah, and I'm very similar. I like to list mine super high. I take into account that I like to do 40 to 50% off sales. It works for me. But I also make sure that I have like better listings or better pictures, better everything than everybody else, better policies, so that hopefully people will want to buy from me rather than somebody else, especially when you're selling things like collectible stuff like vintage Tommy Hilfiger, things that people are looking for. You can kind of do that and put higher prices on stuff. It's like when I was back in Oregon, we have a chain drugstore called Rite Aid, and I think they're in other states too. And they have like an aisle that's all of their holiday stuff. So whatever the holiday is, like let's say it's Christmas, they have all their Christmas stuff. And they put it out there, and it's always priced 50% off. It doesn't matter. It's not even just like at the end of the season. It's like always just 50% off. So it's like my brain knows that they're doing that just to make it look, but it still makes you feel, you still, even if you logically know that they're kind of like, I don't know, I wouldn't say tricking, but like, you know, they're trying to make you feel like you're getting a deal. You still kind of feel like you're getting a deal. So that's kind of my logic behind it.
That's it.
All right, what you got?
Can I show my little Yankee find today?
Yes.
So as you can see, I'm wearing my New York Yankee hat. It is the season. So today I was outsourcing and I found when Eminem and Jay-Z performed in concert at Yankee Stadium. So I got a nice concert t-shirt with that. Can you see it?
Very cool. Yep. How much you pay for it?
$1.49.
Nice.
That was a nice score. So, and I got some vintage Adidas with the little shorts.
Very cool.
Yeah, some little stuff like that. So this is where I'm trying to expand my category more current. I just recently.
And this is nice. This Levi's.
I got this vintage Levi's shirt.
Well, that's cool. Like interesting little kind of military.
Pattern. Yeah. Here's the tag. Can you see that?
Yep.
And how much did I pay for this? $2.49. $3.49. It was $7, so $3.49. It was half price tag.
I love it. I think it's gonna be really interesting to follow what you do with all of this extra help, because I think you are definitely gonna have to be super creative in how you're sourcing, and like you had that fundraiser. It was the Boy Scouts, right?
I was a girls softball team. So that's really when I started. When I came back from eBay Open, that was in July. We did the fundraiser in September. And it really took me like 2 or 3 months to work through 3,000 clothes, just try and figure out 3,000 pounds, what I was going to do. I bought racks, I bought, Z-racks, and I started grouping things together, priced high to low, to try and put a mixture of different prices on there. So amongst doing all that laborious work, I tried to put a process into place, because at that point I didn't have anybody, and Chris was only working, here and there. Right. And I had another girl who was listing shoes for me. So she is very proficient in shoes right now. So that's her baby. That's her category. Every time we source shoes, it goes right to her. Chris is expanding her categories. Right. She had no prior selling experience, no eBay experience, nothing. She's now going to eBay Open. I am. So we're very excited.
Yay!
A newbie's bringing a newbie. The newbie's bringing a newbie. So with that, I decided that Chris was going to be my partner. I think I told you that in the last show, that we opened up Savvy Soho Closet, and that's going to be the venue where we're going to filter all of the fundraising material in and try and give back to the community in that one as well. So that's going to be more auction based, and I think I'm going to keep the Savvy Soho for my nicer ROI items.
Very cool. Well, that's awesome that you're going to come to Open. Can you like do the rundown really quick? Just explain quickly to anybody that may not know, like what it is you're talking about with the fundraiser that you used as a way to source more clothing.
Okay, basically what I did was when I came home from eBay Open, I'm like, how do I get merchandise? These thrift stores keep going higher and higher. So I usually attended a garage sale for this team, and I always supported them every year. This year they did a clothing drive, and we sent out an email and said, we're looking to raise money for these kids, and that it's an easy fundraiser that everyone can partake in, and all they have to do is just clean out whatever clothes they would donate anyway. So we put a list together. They sent it out, and they would drop off garbage bags. I would go every day and pick up the garbage bags, and I would weigh them, and then I made a spreadsheet, and it would keep track, and I would shoot off the spreadsheet right away to her, and then I would write them a check for the clothes. So with that process, 3,000 pounds of clothes came in.
That's crazy. And how many pounds of that are you able to actually sell that you found?
Oh, I probably re-gifted or resold about 400 to 600 pounds of clothes. So I was able to bring my initial cost down less than half. My total initial investment was about less than $850. So then once I exchanged the rest of those clothes, it brought it down halfway. And I have sold a tremendous amount of merchandise since then, and basically everything is just owned outright. I paid 25 cents on the pound.
That is amazing. And what, and for those of you that like go to the bins and stuff like that, generally at this point, I think the lowest price anybody has at like the Goodwill bins is like 99 cents a pound if you go above a certain amount. But even I know the ones back in Oregon, they raised their prices. So I think the lowest there is like maybe $1.29. So finding a way to get clothing for 25 cents a pound at that volume is pretty amazing. How much of it do you still have left to list at this point?
A ton.
A ton.
A ton. I need more listers, but as you know, eBay sellers, we wear a lot of hats. We have to do the business side, we have to do the listing side, the cleaning, the sourcing, it's a lot. And then to try and teach someone who really had no experience, it's like you want to put everything in your head, in their head, and you just have to take baby steps. So when I approached it, I often, refer back to like the McDonald's philosophy. They're successful because they have one way of doing it, and it's consistent, and it's able to be copied, and it's scalable that way. So, I took a step back. Prior to this, I never used InkFrog as a platform, so I had to myself become somewhat proficient in it, and it was able to afford me where I can make templates and have them log on. Their screens are able to be blocked on the dashboard so they don't see the financials. And I tried to make it as easy as possible. So bringing in the shipping templates as well as listing templates. I like the way that you can refine the reports in InkFrog. If I want to, I can pull reports. I think I sent you some screenshots of what was created the last 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
So when they're in, for example, the new one that's starting this week, our new lister, I don't want her to send anything live until I look at it. I can proofread it. I can, coach her as to where we need some help. I look at them and then it goes live. So it's also good for me for paying them because I pay by listing. So I can easily keep track at the end of the week, pulling that information in the data.
Nice. Okay, so we're going to go and we're going to do some of your solds. But first, you guys, I have a prize that I'm going to give out this week. This is something that was actually in Victoria's store, LB Pink Panther, that's been in there for a while. And it wasn't until recently that she realized how cool it is because check it out. Like a Boss.
Oh, wow. Great.
So probably not like worth like a ton of money on its own. It's not like vintage or anything. You can see it's got like the printed tag, which for any of you that maybe are new to clothing, anytime you see a printed tag on something, it's a sure bet that it is a relatively new item. But of course, Boss Facebook group, BOSSup and List. This is an awesome shirt. It's a size XL. And so I'm actually going to be giving this shirt away by the end of this show. And I will be doing it by asking a question, and whoever answers the question first will be the winner. So what you need to do, the question will have something to do with something that we talk about today. So you need to be paying attention. And I will ask that question. And again, whoever answers first is going to get this sweet Darth Vader Star Wars Like a Boss t-shirt. So pay attention, guys. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do a screen share. So that we can show some of the stuff that, hold on a second here. Show some of the stuff that Kristine has sold that she wants to share with you guys. And so let's start with this one. All right, there we go. Can you see that, Kristine?
Yes.
All right, so tell us about this jacket.
I found this jacket in a thrift store. I paid like $3 and change. All my coats I usually get under $6. But this was a very unique jacket. It was an Averex, the flight jacket. And if you look on the inside, there was some unbelievable graphics that were on the inside lining. They had like a rockabilly pinup girl. It was a plastic pocket.
So that's like the on the front of the pocket on the inside.
On the inside, and the inside was all stained as well. But it was a very rare jacket. I knew it was rare. It would get a lot of interest. You know, I put it up really, really high. It was coming. I waited a full year. I didn't sell it last year and let it go. So I brought it into this season, and it was priced high. So I ran a sale, and I ran a 50% off sale, and then I got a best offer. So I figured I would let it go at $260, and I only paid $3 for it. But I loved that jacket. On the back it said "Sweetest Rose of Texas." So
Wait, you paid $3 for this?
Mm-hmm. Crazy.
Do you remember where you found it?
Yeah, I found it at a local thrift store here, a church thrift store.
Wow, that's impressive. Because like if I saw something like that, I probably would have been willing to pay at least $50 for it.
Yeah, and the inside was stained. So if you look at the inside of the lining, but I clearly, you know, denoted that in the listing as well as I showed pictures of it.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, that's a great sale. All right, yeah, those bomber, like any bomber style jacket is going to be like
do very well.
It's going to do really well, and then you add to it something really interesting like these graphics. Like that's pretty cool. All right, let's see. What did we have next? Okay, this one, Father Christmas.
Christmas sells all year. You know, it proves the point. I actually took these in on a whole lot that I got at a thrift store. So this was the Clotique. These are vintage Santas. And I ran a slight sale, and what did it sell? $148.75. I just picked up 2 new ones for $2 each.
Wow. Did you say how much you paid for this one?
Under 2.
Under 2. That is amazing. Now with stuff like this, when you found this, did you already know that you had something special, or did you have to go and do some research on it?
Well, I did some research, but because it must have been a collection that was taken in, so I did some work on that. I also got a big lot of consignment in on this particular brand that I work with locally, organizer in my town. So I hooked up with her. She's usually hired to help people clean and declutter. So she usually sorts the piles, and that's a very good contact that I have with this woman. So basically, what she does is she makes piles to donate. Then she basically introduces my services, hands them my business card, and tells them, you know, let me bring someone in that I think is a great asset for you to have, because if she sees anything that you have of worth, rather than sell it at a garage sale or donate it, she could sell it online for you and consign it. And she kind of keeps the businesses separate. Then they usually make an appointment with me. I come in, and that's how it works. So it's a great thing. So I had a huge lot come in from that woman as well. So that's how I knew the name, and I knew that the brand sells well. Very
cool. Yeah, I think networking is key to kind of opening a lot of doors like that.
Absolutely.
All right, let's look and see. Let's see what else, if you have anything else that goes into that. So those are your solds that you were sharing.
Mm-hmm.
And let me get out of the screen share here. Yeah, so to go back to the whole networking thing, I do really think it's important. You know, you see a lot of people in like different Facebook groups and stuff, they'll say like, what do you tell people when they ask you what you're buying all this stuff for? And a lot of people are really hesitant to share that they are resellers. And I understand that like occasionally people might have a bad opinion about somebody who's reselling stuff, like, but I think it's way more common that people think it's really interesting that you resell. And I found that the more people I tell, the more opportunities I have to build relationships with people, because you end up meeting somebody who, like, maybe they clean out storage lockers, or they do, you know, buy big lots like that. And they need to have people who they can connect with, that they can give that kind of stuff to if they have stuff that they can't sell themselves. Or so I don't know. Do you have a similar experience, Kristine?
Well, I used to be very private about it, where I didn't tell people what I did. And then I started, I'm a big networker to begin with, but I would keep that private. Now I don't keep it private any longer. So I find that because I have this plethora of contacts, you know, between lawyers, estates, realtors, the organizer, and I think I told you in the last show, I have 20 years experience in fundraising. It's getting harder and harder to fundraise. And now when we're living in this small town, we have like a small town downtown area, but these stores get hit by every group, every organization, every team, every school event.
Yeah.
You can't hit them anymore. So when I came up with this idea about fundraising and clothes and the clothing drive, it was a no-brainer. all they had to do, I mean, people outgrow clothes, they get sick of things, especially with kids' clothes, sports stuff. So they're more than happy to give it to you because they were going to donate it anyway.
Right.
And they realize that. I just recently, if you want me to grab it, I just recently took out an ad. We ran the event, which was the big fundraiser for the school, and we had a journal. So our friend Nanette, that did the Size Me Up with Teresa when she came in, created an ad for me. So she's in the process now of putting out a whole marketing packet for me with brochures and the trifolds. And, then Chris and I can hand these out to all the organizations and present it to schools or PTAs. But we're still a little cautious because I still have so much stuff from the first one.
Yes.
So unless I continue to bring on listers and train them, it has to be a well-oiled machine. Otherwise, you can easily look like I'm a hoarder in this.
I mean, it's such a small town, and people have become aware of what Kristine's doing that they will actually. I could be in the village, and people will stop me and say, "Oh, I heard you work for Kristine now," and I say, "Yeah, I'm helping her with the eBay," and they want to know like how she gets everything, like what does she do, and and me. I'll just say import, export, a little of this.
Kristine is a retired New York City police officer, so you can't get anything out of her.
All right.
But here was the ad that we just put through in the journal. So here she has the picture of turn your next clothing drive into your biggest fundraiser.
All right, bring it up closer to the camera so it fills up the screen.
Collect, drop off. It's that easy. So it's just turning your closets into cash for your organizations. So one of the things that I have, because I have that background, like you said, you had a lot of nonprofit background in your life as well. I would like to actually one day sit down with eBay, because I think what I did with that one particular group was I gave money on the back end as well. So I sponsored their team. I collected the clothes, and because this first team was very dear to my heart and I wanted to send them to Atlanta, I told her that I would give her a percentage of the sale after fees on the back end. I don't know if I would do that again, just because it creates logistically a bookkeeping nightmare. But I did speak to the concierge department, and a shout out to them because I absolutely love the eBay concierge program. I had a big conversation with them when it came to fundraising and earmarking your listings for charities. So I wanted to know if there's a way I could put into place where if the school or the organization is a nonprofit that I'm raising money from, I can set it up with the eBay side. And then when I sell it and I put a certain code in, or their organization, from what the concierge member told me, the checks are sent from eBay directly to that organization. So if we can kind of grow and cultivate that, I think it would be a great thing, because it puts eBay in the community's face, and it also attracts, like millennials to the platform. And, I tell every millennial that's going off to college, you have a very powerful tool in your hand, your cell phone, that can make you a lot of money when you're at college. And you don't have to get a job. You can work from your dorm and work in between, studying. So I think there's something there that we can really get.
I think there's a lot of untapped potential as far as charity work goes with eBay. And for any of you that don't know what eBay Concierge is, this is another reason why you should be going to eBay Open. It is a special program, customer service program that I'm assuming is still in beta because not everybody has it. But basically, anybody who went to eBay Open last year got signed up for the concierge program. And basically what it means is when you call eBay because you have a question about something, for one thing, I think the longest I've ever waited was 5 minutes for them to answer the phone. And that seemed like forever because I was so used to it taking like not even a minute. And you get people on the phone who know exactly what they're doing, and they know how to help you, or they know how to get you to the right person, and they will transfer you. They will personally transfer you over to the next person and have like a three-way call so that nothing gets lost along the way. They even like reach out back to you. They'll follow up. They'll call you back the next day if there's a problem that you're kind of working through. So to me, I feel like for my business, it has been, I don't even know if I could put a value on it to be able to have like this dedicated customer service line that I'm able to access because I went to Open last year. You know, people talk about like this year it's $275. Some people are like, what am I paying for? And it's like, first of all, the food and booze and everything they give you alone is worth the money. Like it costs them that much just to provide that for us, each person. But then getting like extra things like concierge, I don't even know. I mean, how much have you used them this last year, Kristine?
Oh, I use them all the time. And I am most impressed with their follow-up skills. Like if I speak to them about something, I never feel rushed. I find they give me very, very, very good advice. And they follow up and they'll say, you know what, I'm gonna call you in a few days. Let's see if we can implement what we spoke about. And I thank them every day on the phone. And in fact, when I was at eBay, I tell this story that the clap out, I don't know if you were able to see it because you were on stage a lot, but when they were doing the closing ceremonies at eBay, I had to kind of scoot out because I had to use the ladies' room. And I kind of was one of the first people that left the room. And there were tons of eBay employees on both sides with that clap out. And when they just shocked me and I was stunned and they were pointing, saying, "We love you. Thank you." I bursted into tears and I walked down the entire tunnel with my hands crying. I made eBay employees cry. And the reason why I'm telling you this story is because one of the concierge members that I spoke to remembered that. And they were standing right next to the woman that I made cry. And I share with them and I thank them because that experience changed my life, that eBay open.
Right. And you went home and then you suddenly magically over the course of just a matter of months turned your one-person business into an empire.
Oh, empire.
You're on your way.
So if you are on the fence, please, please, please do not hesitate. You know, this is our business and what they do is a gift for their sellers.
So one witch lady asked, said clapping tunnel. So basically, I actually did miss it. I know what it is, but I did miss it because I was a part of the Shine Awards last year. So a lot of the times I wasn't with everybody else. But basically what it was, I think it was the last day. It was like when you left the main like the main session, they had all of their employees lined up. So imagine like whenever you see like a big sports event and all the teammates like come running out a tunnel of people. Basically, everybody leaving the space had to go down this tunnel of eBay employees, and they were basically clapping and cheering and yelling like appreciation and stuff like that. And the people who experienced it, like Kristine, found it to be just the most awesome experience and pretty overwhelming. So it was really, really cool. Yeah, you get to meet a lot of the eBay employees there. You get to know them. You start to see them as like they're just regular people like us, and they really do care about our success, and they want to listen to us. So it's an awesome experience. All right, so go ahead.
One the concierge people, you know, when you talk to them, they really say that they are secretly hoping that they get selected to attend eBay Open. So they must have some kind of process where they, you know, randomly allow people to go. But when I'm talking hundreds of employees, they bring in just for that clap out. So it's very powerful. So speaking with the concierge, they're like, "Oh, I hope I get picked this year." So they're just as excited as we are.
Yeah, very, very cool. All right, guys. So now I want to talk to you about something super exciting. So we've been doing the show for a few weeks. I've been doing my channel. It's been up for a few months, but it's been like the last month that I've really been going crazy with it. And we officially today have our first sponsor. We have a sponsor for the BOSSup and List live show. And the sponsor is Sizely. So you've heard me talk about Sizely before. They're probably my favorite third-party company that I use for eBay. I've been using them for 2 years. They were a free service for the first, I don't remember what year exactly they started, but they were a free service for a long time while they were developing their service. And then just a couple months ago, they went to a paid site. And let me tell you, I was actually excited when I saw that they had changed over to a paid site, because as much as I loved them before, they had a very limited number of templates. So if you don't know what Sizely is basically templates for showing measurements for clothing and for accessories. And so I've been using them for almost the entire time that I've been selling on eBay and doing clothing, because I really like being able to show exactly where I'm measuring on a particular item. So it's really easy for people to understand like what the size is of the thing that I'm selling, because sizes vary from item to item. And so when they went to a paid site, I was stoked because for one thing, the price, I don't think the price is very much. It's actually $8 a month to get a pro account. If you do like a whole year, it's only $7 a month. And you get like over 100 templates, and it's super cool. And I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen really quick, but I'm super excited that we have a sponsor. It's like we're getting to the prime time here, guys. So I'm really excited about it. Actually, Eddie, the guy from Sizely, he saw the video I did like a month ago or so when they came out with the paid things. I was just excited about it. I wanted to share. And he saw it and he loved it. And so now when you sign up for Sizely, I'm actually in the welcome email. And there's like a link to my video. And he like tells people to subscribe to my channel. So it's actually pretty cool. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here real quick. And I'm going to show you what Sizely is all about. I think this is a great tool to use if you are listing clothing. So this is just like what the site basically looks like when you first go look at it. There's different templates. I really like the way that the templates look. So they have different plans. There's a starter plan. The starter plan's free. I don't really think that there's only like 25 templates and they're pretty limited. So I'd say the startup is a really good way for you to look at it and just get an idea of how it could work. They've got t-shirts, they've got a couple of different shoes, a couple of different jackets. I think they've got jeans for men and women. So this is a really good way for you to just kind of go look at it and maybe try it out on a couple of listings. And then you can see they have the Plus account, and then they also have the Pro. Now the Pro is the one I use. The second I saw what they were doing with their different levels, I knew immediately the Pro was the one I wanted. You can see all of these templates that they have, and you go down, you can see the price breakdown. Now with the free one, really you can only do basically 30 listings within a month. And then they have like a little bit of image storing. Now when I do it, I'm going to show you real quick like an example of me using this in an actual listing. I don't do image hosting. I actually download the image and then upload it into eBay. If you do the Plus account, you get 100 templates that you can do per month. So basically 100 listings. There's 50 different template designs to choose from. And then they have the image hosting. And then the Pro account, that's the one that I use. It's got over 100 designs, unlimited templates you can use a month. I usually list anywhere from 200 to 300 items a month. So I need to have more than 100, of course. Unlimited secure image hosting. Again, I don't use that. I don't really like the idea of having anything on another site that could potentially, like if anything ever happened to those images being hosted elsewhere, they'd be gone from my listings. So now I'm going to go ahead and show you just real quick, give you a real quick example. Let's see, where are we at? All right, so I'm going to go over to my Sizely. So I'm in my Sizely, and you can see I'm on the templates page. I'll show you real quick. You can see all these templates that they have, and it's pretty much, I mean, there's definitely still some that are missing, ones I would like to use, but there are ones that you can use kind of for anything if you can't find a specific one. But they have a lot of really cool ones. Underwear, dresses, there's shoes, there's kids stuff, there's accessories like sunglasses and glasses and hats, to be able to show like how exactly to do a listing. And again, I think I love using these in my listings. And so I actually have, you can basically make it so you have like your favorites. So you don't have to go through the whole list every time. So I have like the ones that I use most often here. So I'm going to show you really quick. I'm in the middle of listing a t-shirt. This is actually the bat t-shirt that I showed in last week's haul video. So this is how easy it is. So I got my t-shirts here. I do display both because I want to show both inches and centimeters, but I'm entering it in the inches. For t-shirts, I only show the length and the chest measurement because that's kind of all you really need for a t-shirt. Now, of course, I lost my, there it is. Okay, so all you have to do is you just put in your length. I got 28 inches. My chest measurement across is 21.25. And again, I have display both because I only want to use one picture. And then you go generate. And so you hang out, wait for your Sizely. Now this, the website is size.ly. I have a link to it down in the description here. So see, you can copy the link URL. You can copy the HTML code, all that stuff. I don't use that. What I actually do is I do a right click save image. Now it goes automatically into my folder that has the pictures for this listing. I hit save. Now I go over to my listing, add my photos. So I got all my pictures for that, for this listing. And it's going to have that Sizely is going to be the last picture. When I put in my condition description, I have right here, see pics for detailed measurements. And I actually have this close-up picture will be my first picture. So I'm going to bring this over here. So my last picture is going to be this Sizely one. I'm going to click to enlarge so you can see it. So, and you notice like all those other measurements that you could do, like there's a shoulder one, sleeve one, hem, those all disappear. If you don't fill anything in, they disappear. And so this is all that your buyers are going to see. So they can look at that. And then I go down here and I have actually in my description, I just have the title and I say, again, see pictures for detailed measurements. And so I just go down here, list my item.
You know, Katie, you say you do a lot of international sales, and I wonder if that's not a great plus for you because your measurements are given in outside U.S. measurements.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of one of those things. It's like how I say that, that, you know, remove all obstacles. It's like, I want to make it as easy as possible for everybody to buy my stuff. So this is really simple. So they can go in now, they can look at that measurement. So I'm going to go ahead, stop screen sharing. Yeah, I mean, I want to make it as easy as possible. And now it used to be with Sizely when they were doing it as a free one. I used to have to actually do it twice because you couldn't have them both on the same picture. So I'd have to use 2 of my pictures of my 12 pictures on eBay. And I would do 1 for inches and 1 for centimeters. And it would take me extra time, but I was still willing to do it because I really wanted to have both of those measurements there. So when they came out with the paid version, I was super excited that they had updated that feature. So I love it. So anyway, thank you so much, Sizely, Eddie at Sizely. Just go to size.ly. The link is down in the description of this video. So I'm super excited that they are our official first sponsor for the BOSSup and List live show. All right. So yeah, Teresa said over 750 or around 750 eBay employees attended last year's eBay Open. So that's pretty impressive.
Can you imagine being in that tunnel, just me in the tunnel with
well, and you're like tiny too, so they were all like towering over you and like cheering you on.
It was, I love eBay Open.
Yeah, it's really fun. Okay, so let's get right into, we're going to talk about the nitty gritty here. Now, Kristine, somebody asked this question and I don't, it's okay if you don't want to answer some of this. I know that, you know, you've got employees, but they're asking like how much you pay per listing. So what, you kind of talk about like what your structure is for employing people, because some people are paying per listing. Some people are just hiring somebody as a full-on employee. Some people are doing like, you know, you hire somebody as an independent contractor. Would you be able to go into like a little bit of detail of like kind of how you're structuring your business as far as employees go?
They are definitely independent contractors because then this way I have the availability to write them off as contractors. I pay by the listing because just for incentive reasons. If I give them a flat fee, there's no way that I can put, you know, fire underneath them. So when I tell them that consistency builds speed and I pay per listing and I tell them they could do very well. So I try and make it as easy as possible for them as far as grouping like items together, like categories. But the one girl, Amanda, who is, you know, doing listings for me, does all shoes. So she's become so proficient in that it's just, she blows right through them now. So my goal is to try and bring on a lister for each category and zero in, like a jeans lister, a shirt lister, a men's sport coat lister, coats and jackets, because that's where your money is. So you want to make sure all your keywords are there. So that's kind of where my goal is to be. And then I would like to bring in clothing and accessories, a lister for that, as well as collectibles. You know,
and so for the listers, what are you giving them? Are they taking pictures at all, or are they just going, taking all the information and listing it?
All the pictures, because since eBay opened, the first pictures that you showed of that flight jacket were in the corner of my living room. And I would set it up and, you know, break it down. That's an all white living room, so no one's even allowed in that room. So now that I'm downstairs here, I have the white background. You know, I used all the tools that eBay gave us at Open, you know, for best practices and to get optimum Google search. So I now have this area set up, and then there's a 90-degree angle here where I have a pole, a double pole, where I keep the black and the gray. So if I need to, I just swing the mannequins. So I like to take the photos because I think I'm trying to go for consistency and speed. And the way that I'm dropping them into the Dropbox folder, the more I'm familiar with them, the easier it is for me to check them. And I become familiar with what we're working on that week.
Okay, so I think that's a good place to segue into what it is you're talking about with the Dropbox. So if anyone doesn't know, you want to talk about what exactly is Dropbox?
Dropbox is a service that I utilize where it's a photo storage spot. And kind of what you said, InkFrog doesn't hold my images. So I don't ever want to be where I don't have images. So the easiest way that I could figure out, and I'm not very proficient in computers, so if there's anybody that thinks this is too overwhelming, it's not, because I am definitely not the most proficient in computers.
Yeah, Dropbox is a great file sharing program.
Mm-hmm. So what I basically do is, I think I told you on the last show, when Teresa was here, I was randomly coming up with box names or numbers, and it was just inconsistent. So when January came, like everybody, January, you know, everybody bogs down to get organized and put a system into play. So I started with the first week of January being week number 52. So everything that we do that week is referred to as week 52. So I create Dropbox folders, and I think you're showing the picture of the folder. So it shows the date range and it shows week number 52. I take the pictures, they're taken on my iPhone, and then there's an app right on my iPhone called Dropbox. So if you go into Dropbox and you click it, can you see that where it's starting to load?
Let me go back over on you. Okay.
Okay. So let me get out of it so I can kind of show you. Okay. On my cell phone, there's an app for Dropbox.
Yeah, I saw that there.
So I take all my pictures with the iPhone.
Okay.
So what I do is when I downloaded the Dropbox app, when I'm done with the photos for the day, I press this little button here that says create and upload. So once I upload it, the first thing it's asking me to do is, do I want to upload photos?
Mm-hmm.
So I say yes. When I click that button, the pictures will populate. If you can kind of see that, how they scroll and they stay in order. So it'll say, do you want today's upload? So I say yes. So each day of that week, at the end of the day, I am uploading the files for the next day's work.
Okay.
So I have the availability to say, it says here, select all and next. It brings you to a subscreen, and the subscreen that it brings you to is the image that you're showing on your screen.
Right here.
And my pictures automatically end up in those folders.
So you do it. So each week you have a different folder.
Correct. And it's dubbed with the dates as well as the week number. And I like to keep the week dates in there because I know how old that merchandise is. And that's what I was telling you in the first call. So I know, you know, January, February, March, first quarter, if we all know that listings kind of get stale on eBay when they hit that 90-day time. So I can go back. It's a great way for me to cross-reference and mark those things down and or sell similar. Mm-hmm. Now I could start that since we're in Q2. I can go back.
And you know, I see a bin number here, so you know which bin these are going into for storage, correct?
100%. So everything that week stays with those bins. So once the week is created, then we go into InkFrog now. And during InkFrog, when they have the template where the SKU is, you know, similar for eBay, we put in there the price, who it is or who it belongs to, and the price we paid, as well as the week number that it's in. And we also put the bin number.
And this is like, oh, so sorry, go ahead.
Because like the other day, we did a lot of listings, all went up in one shot. So we had multiple bins. So if we have bin 38 for week 38, you know, you could have bin 38A, B, or C. And it allows me to know if I can't find something in 38, and I look at the Dropbox folders, and I'll like, I cross-reference and say there's 2 more boxes for that week.
Yeah, and you can see here, guys, that it shows the week, so the start and end date of that week, what bin, and here's the photos. And then all of your assistants have access to these because you can, in Dropbox, you can share, basically it's all up in the cloud, and you can share any files or folders in Dropbox with whoever else that you want to. And so you guys are all sharing the same information.
Right. So now, again, this is all baby steps, and this has all been since open. So this is something that I'm trying to create, and we tweak it. It's very uncomplicated, and it's not that overwhelming.
Right.
And Chris, with no experience, was able to catch right on. And then we say, hey, why don't we add this in? And why don't we add that? And that's how the branches begin to grow, and you can scale. So one of the things, I'm just going to go up a little bit, like listing on other sites. Let's say if you were to list on a Poshmark or a Depop or these other sites that are coming up, it's very overwhelming as sellers when all we see is just picture after picture after picture. Well, now if I want to pull out some athleisure items that I think might do well on another site, it's very easy for me because in the SKU shows the bin number. Well, my bin number is now consistent with my folder number for my photos, my Dropbox, and my inventory system. So if I'm looking to upload a certain picture, I also have those pictures stored on my phone, done by weeks. So if I'm listing from my phone, I just scroll until I hit that week, the pictures upload, and I select them, and it's seamless for integrating and cross-referencing.
Okay, real quick, somebody's asking if you have 52 bins that you continuously use. I don't think you do. You're just counting up. Like you're not like 50, like it's not like the bin number isn't like set to the week. It's not like the last week of 2018, you'll be on bin 52. You just keep counting up, right?
I count down.
Or count down.
Yeah, I count down. So this is the first year I'm doing it. So I'm assuming that when I get to next year, my thought process will be I'm going to stick with the same system, but I might incorporate the last 2 digits of the year, because that came up in a conversation with Chris and I. I'm like, well, what do we do when we get to 52 next year?
Right.
So I'll do 52-19.
Okay, gotcha. So you are doing 52, like the week number. It actually literally is the week, the number attached to that week.
Yeah, it's attached to the bin. That number does not deviate. That week stays consistent with everything. Listing, SKUs, photos, Dropbox, inventory boxes, and also on the back end when I get the sales, when I'm preparing
it's so organized. It's definitely a good system to have.
At a later date, I could take pictures of the garage. When Teresa was here, I think I have some pictures that I could share with you where it took over my basement. But what was happening was I was feeling smothered with all the inventory that had to go up and then the inventory that was live. And it was, it just wasn't a good workspace. I needed to make sure I felt like I was processing. So what's in my basement is currently not listed. It goes from the one side of where it's waiting to get listed to the photo stations. I have a measuring station to the right. And then I have racks and Z-racks. So anything that's hung, all my coats are hung and they're labeled and numbered in alphabetical order. And then the boxes get stored on shelves. And then once they're done, what I do is I now have implemented, Chris and I, a cross-check system utilizing the InkFrog reports that you're able to refine. I can pull up week, space, number, the week. And that's, I'm giving you that tip because when I first started, some people would type week 38 all together. Others would type week, space, 38. And it wasn't all coming in concise. So now we went back and changed it where everything is typed week, space, the pound sign, space, and the bin number. Because then when I put in a search field, if I want to pull up bin 40, And in InkFrog, I put in week, space, number, space, 40. Everything comes up. I'm able to see if it's live, if it's not live, or if it's sold. So prior to the boxes leaving my basement to go into the garage to get stored, we double check that everything is in there, everything is live, and it's accounted for. So this way, there's no garment being put in the wrong week box. And I do that by simply pulling my phone out. Because it's all in my phone under those weeks, I can just grab my phone and I swipe right through all the pictures. And then they're put away, and we haven't had any problems with lost items or shipping issues.
Very smart. Okay, let's look at these. Tell us what's going on with these InkFrog screenshots you have here.
Okay, that was the example of how I can't see all of it, but if you see above the left-hand side, is there any kind of refining search? Does it say one day?
You had a different one.
Yeah. So you see above that search bar, there's different, you can save your searches. So I've saved daily searches and I've saved weekly searches. So if I give the shoe list or shoes and I wait to have a pile and she says, okay, I loaded them all, I go on and I save it, and then I know how much I need to pay her because what's live. It's a great way for me to cross-reference. So these are examples of InkFrog where I put the title in, the price is there, and then the gray area is in a ready status, and the live area is illuminated in blue.
Gotcha.
I put the price that I pay. So this is also, they keep listings that have been sold as well. So sometimes it gets, like I was like, well, why do I need to keep them? But because we sell a lot of one-ups and I buy a lot of the same style, like sport coat, or I hone in on certain things that I know sell. If they've sold, I just select the listing, I edit it, I change the inventory quantity from 0 to 1, and it just lists fast. So it's, I as well am building up speed as we become more proficient in the program, and it's just a well-oiled machine that's beginning to form.
Very, very cool. And for anybody who doesn't know anything about InkFrog, I don't know much about InkFrog because I do all of my own listings just through the eBay listing, basically template or whatever the site, because I'm just myself. And so, but the thing about InkFrog as a third-party platform or program that you sync up with your eBay is that for somebody like Kristine who has people working for her, eBay as of now hopefully they'll bring something like this in the future, but as of now you can't like add users to your account. It would be great if like I could go in and add a user and limit their ability to make it like see any of the financial stuff, to make any changes to anything. If you could have somebody added as a user that just did listings, just did drafts for you, that'd be great. eBay does not do that right now. And so now the only way to do that is to use some sort of three-party program, which InkFrog is a great example of one that you can use, that Kristine uses to be able to do that.
Right. And I have to say that I was dead set against using a third-party lister because I believe that you should stay on the platform that you're on. And when I was at eBay Open, that was one of my questions. You need a back office for virtual assistants where there's no access to the thing. So it was like a tug of war for me to do it because I'm listing off the site and I am going to put all that through Savvy Soho Closet, and I'm actually going to test market once it's running very smoothly. I am not going to use InkFrog, I don't think, for my new store because I want to see if there's a difference in the search engines, like being found, listing directly on the site.
Well, it makes me a little nervous using a third party just because, it's like you have to depend on them continuing to provide that service or, whatever. But I get it. It's like it's a necessary thing that you have to do at this point. It's kind of crazy that eBay doesn't have some sort of back office like what you're talking about, considering there are lots of people out there, even if you only have one person working for you, like Vicky has, our friend Dana, who started out as her assistant, now has her own store, but she still does a little bit of work for Vicky. It's like, she just lets her be on her account doing it, and they're friends, she trusts her, so she's not worried about it. But it does make it difficult if you want to hire somebody to have them list for you if you don't use a third party.
There's also another aspect which I talk to eBay, because do you know when you buy and sell real estate, like let's say someone got kicked off eBay, you know, their URL or whatever their, I don't know what the correct terminology is, but eBay knows that it came out of this house. So let's say I was ever to get kicked off eBay for not doing best practices or something happened. Whoever bought my house could be banned at one time. Someone was telling me that, and I'm like, oh my God. So to give your eBay to someone else is very scary, because then it links to them.
It's your IP address. So it's basically,
Yeah.
it's like if they look at your computer and like your server that you're using. And so, yeah, that definitely can happen.
So I spoke to eBay and said, you know what? I pay for InkFrog. I would love to just pay you for that service. And, you know, your shareholders will be happy because it's an income generator like promoted listings. But, you know, that's here or there. Hopefully they'll do something and I could go on the platform in the future with this.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, we are pretty much out of time at this point, but I'm hoping that some of you learned some things today from Kristine. And Christina, thank you so much for coming and joining us as well. It was great to get to see, actually meet somebody who's doing this work for another seller. And also I'm hoping you guys are like somewhat inspired by Kristine's story. Like I said, she came to eBay Open last year. She was nervous about traveling on her own and wasn't sure if she wanted to go. She decided to go, only had like about 400 listings at that time. And now she's approaching 2,000 with 3 people working under her. So I'm hoping that you can be inspired by what she has been able to accomplish in such a short amount of time, and that you can recognize that you can do something like this too. It's just a matter of getting to work and bossing up, as we say. You want to boss up and list and get stuff done. So I've got the prize here, guys. I've got the Like a Boss Darth Vader t-shirt. Lorna, Teresa, if you're still there, if you can help us pay attention and see who answers the question I asked correctly first. All right, here's the question. Sizely. If you sign up for Sizely for a pro account, how many templates will you have to work with on Sizely? Pro account, guys. How many templates? Anybody? Anybody? Come on. You're going to win this t-shirt. How many templates? Come on. I know there's like 23 of you watching. Somebody was paying attention. Janet says 200. Nope. Nope. Not 50. Oh, it looks like we got 100. Looks like the first, tell me if I'm wrong here, B Torn Heart Art V said 100. I believe they were the first one to answer that. So, oh, Dorothy says 1,000. All right, B Torn Heart Art V, I believe you were the first person to answer the question. So you are the winner. I will get in touch with you. Actually, you find a way to get in touch with me. If you're in the Boss Facebook group, you can just message me and let me know what your address is so that I can ship that out to you, and you can have your sweet Like a Boss Star Wars t-shirt, Darth Vader. And again, thank you guys so much for watching with us. Please continue to participate in the Boss Up and List virtual listing party over the Boss Facebook group. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Make sure that you click on the little bell icon that's next to the subscribe button, because that is how you are going to be alerted when new shows come up, whether they're live or pre-recorded ones. And again, Kristine, Christina, thank you so much. And all you guys have a great day and keep on listing. Boss up.